Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where I expect this to be the final episode of this particular series, and we'll just go until the end of the episode here. I'm not too concerned about the actual end date, but I am a little concerned about making our way through this construction queue a little faster. I would like to do that, and I think we can afford it. We've got 62,000 that we're making right now, and we have nothing in our investment pool, so we can definitely afford to expand our construction a little bit. We're going to expand our Buenos Aires construction by 50% is what's going to happen here. We also need to get some railways built. Those are nice and underway. I like it. Okay, so that looks good. We're going to have these done soon enough. That will accelerate our overall construction speed. And that looks fantastic. Now we do have a good vintage here. And I think that we take the prestige, honestly. I'd like to bump up our prestige a little bit. So we're currently sitting at 2262 compared to the East India Company at 2290. Okay. Well, we are certainly going to eclipse them eventually. The question is when exactly. And with our GDP kind of leveling out the way that we knew that it would, we'll see what ends up happening with that. Okay, so up to 711. That looks great. Realistically, I think we can afford to expand our finances, or rather our construction more, right? We're at 70.2k. If this doesn't change here, then we'll expand more. Okay, we just went up to 748. We'll give it another week. 37.7. Okay. It's looking decent. We've got 65 weeks left here, 755. That looks good. Submarines have been unlocked. Okay, we just dipped negative, so we don't want to expand further. Got it. So currently expensive. Steel, glass, oil, small arms. All understood. Mendoza and Patagonia. So we're building a railway in Mendoza right now. Patagonia is, of course, down over here. And that is going to need another railway. So we'll go ahead and get that queued up. Fantastic. And we're going to be done working on our sulfur mines fairly soon. Okay, we're back positive. That's a good sign. And our GDP is holding. We expect that. That is fully expected right now. How many more sulfur mines are we going to be building? Answer is a lot. We're going to be building sulfur mines for roughly another 40 weeks. That's the majority of this construction time. Okay. I feel like sulfur mines aren't necessarily the best thing here. So instead, I'm going to move up some of these logging camps. Just to split up the sulfur mines a little bit. We'll leave the rest of these logging camps and fishing wharves where they are. But we'll move up these logging camps. There we go. Diula people are moving to Alabama. Okay, well, I wish them luck in that endeavor. We are now number 6 in the world. So we have actually just passed the East India Company. Beautiful. We've not passed them in GDP right now, but we have passed them in prestige. Cool. So that looks good. We can actually stop bankrolling Peru-Bolivia at this point. Yeah, we can stop that. Which means that we're making a good amount more money. Which means that we could build more construction. I'm going to build another 5. That's going to be too much. East India Trade Company wants a trade agreement with us, which we definitely accept. This is going to be too much construction. We're going to be negative in our construction balance. That's okay. I don't mind that. So we're going to finish this up, and that will increase our construction speed a decent amount. Keep in mind, it's almost 1935. The game is going to end, technically, in like 1 year. We're going to keep going beyond the end date just to the end of this episode, so that this is a full-length episode and not a short one, but that'll be fine. So I'd like to get this all concluded before we end up ending the game, and in fact, that is going to happen at this point. So that's good. We're back to building the sulfur mines. We've completed all of those lumber camps already. Yeah, those go very quickly. It's mostly the sulfur mines that are going to require work. Market access is at 99% in Mendoza. Is that a real issue? It is. Okay. So in Mendoza, we're going to need an additional railway, and in Santiago, we will as well. So we'll get those queued up. That looks reasonably fine. Cool. No major problems here. We are negative in our finances. We knew that this would happen. This is completely fine. I don't mind being 25k in the hole right now. Yeah, that's irrelevant. We got a new leader at some point. Our unrealized taxes are better. I like it. So our GDP has started to climb again. But it's going to stagnate a bit as we continue to work on these sulfur mines, right? The sulfur mines aren't really generating us all that much money. It's kind of dumb to be building all of these at once the way that I am. I just wanted to do it. Not because it was efficient, but because I thought it would be fun. So we're now number 6 in the world. We have managed to pass the East India Company, yes, but who else did we pass? I'm not sure who we passed there. Interesting. The Free States of America are a little higher than us in prestige. Cool. That seems reasonably fine. But yeah, here we are, Argentina, the great power. I like it. And we started kind of from nothing, to be honest. We've made it a long ways. There's no doubt about that. We're about to hit 270 million in our GDP. And how many more sulfur mines do we have to make? Actually, we're getting kind of close to the end. Cool. So that's good. By the time we're done with these railways, I do expect us to be pretty much at the end. Mendoza's at 99, Santiago, and then Arcania actually needs a railway now. So we'll get that queued up. Fantastic. And yes, we're dipping a little further negative. I'm not shocked about that, as we are continuing to build these railways. That's fairly expected. Once we work our way through the sulfur mines, it should start going back up. We could again move up the logging camps. I don't think that's necessary, though. We've got plenty of gold piled up. I'm not concerned. But yes, overall, these sulfur mines are kind of dumb to be building all of these at once. But imagine how useful it would be in Hearts of Iron if we were going to Hearts of Iron, and if it actually carried over. I don't know if it does. It probably does at this point. I haven't looked to see if there's a transfer tool between Vic 3 and Hearts of Iron 4 yet. There probably is by now. But we haven't had need of it just yet. So that's okay. Ah, we're starting to build a logging camp. That's what we want to see. Beautiful. So our sulfur mines are beginning to wrap up. There aren't that many more of them. We are working on all of them simultaneously. Within the next 14 weeks, they will all be done. That's good. We now only have 27 weeks left on this construction queue. Looks great. So the sulfur mines are finishing about 1 per week here. And we're definitely working on those logging camps. From here, of course, we could work on our agriculture. In theory. But I don't think we will. We've got more than enough jobs available, right? There's no doubt about that. We have hit almost 12 million population. And having all of these open jobs is going to mean that we should have some decent migration attractions here. Indeed. Radio production was successfully completed. Cool. More radios. 50% radio output. I like it. That's a lot of radio output, actually. 50%? That's huge. So our sulfur mines are going to be finished up in just a few more weeks. This railway is going to be as well. I'm checking in on our market access here. So Santiago is at 95%. Are we expecting that to need another railway level? We are. Okay. Or a port. But a railway is more infrastructure. So we'll get that going. That should be fine. Austria is now approving relations with us. They are cooperative. I like it. A bigoted article about Irish people, huh? We'll suppress that. After all, we need a workforce. People are people. People work just as hard as other people in this game. So, any people that we can have is good people. Excellent. So, we do have some unemployed and some peasants, surprisingly, but those should disappear through migration, realistically. Our number of radicals is creeping upward, which is unsurprising looking at our standard of living. Our GDP has begun to go back up now that we're no longer building those sulfur mines. And we're only barely negative now. I like it. So our railway in Araucania is going to finish up. And Los Rios, huh? Okay. We'll get that constructing. Beautiful. So our logging camps are all going to be done very, very soon here. We're working on fishing wharves as well. All of our raw resource production is about to be finished. In fact, we are actively working on every page. Not quite every location. Steel mills actually got auto-queued. We'll go ahead and bump that up to the top. That's certainly a higher priority. I think that's very clear. Cool. 25 weeks left on our construction queue here. It's September of 1935. Keep in mind, a lot of that is a steel mill. So we're going to be done with all of our logging camps next week. We're now positive in our finances. That's great. Cool. And we're queuing up all of these industries now. That's all auto-queuing. I like it. So our fishing wharves are going to be done in how long? Overall, 7 weeks. Cool. That will definitely be done before the end of the game. I like it. Not necessarily the smartest of moves, but we just bumped up, or we're jockeying for position 6. We didn't quite pass the Free States of America. Oh, wow. Oh, no, it's the East India Company that we're jockeying for 6 with. Okay, that's okay. Input goods shortages, nothing too major. Excellent. Checking in on railways, it appears to be fine-ish. I mean, Arcania definitely needs more. What do we got going on there right now? Yeah, we need another railway in Arcania. Okay, we'll get that queued up. We're making a lot of money right now, but that's because we don't have this fully queued, right? And that's okay. We could actually work on our agriculture. So if we were to do that, here's the way that I would end up doing it, and this is probably not the best way to do it. But I would be looking for what makes the most here. So this is at like 1.09. Coffee is 1.45. So I would then do maxing out of coffee. Actually, I don't necessarily want this to be on top. There we go. Maxing out of coffee. And then bananas is the next highest. So then I would look to max out the arable land on bananas. This is not a smart way to do this necessarily. And then the next highest, we'd need to go through again. 0.5-ish, 0.2, 0.2. Tobacco. And Los Rios for tobacco as well. Sugar is actually surprisingly negative. Okay, 0.2. Mendoza dye plantations would be the way to go. I think I'm going to do dye plantations overall. And then we do livestock ranches, of which there are a lot. And that's all of our arable land. So how long is that going to take? 70 weeks. That's not too bad. Now, we're very negative right now. That's because we're building a lot of agriculture, which means that that's not going into our, or rather not coming out of our investment pool. So that's to be expected, and these do build quite quickly. So let's let this go ahead here. We'll get all of our raw resources coming in. This is not necessarily a smart way to do things, but let's get it done, and we're right at the end of the game. So the game is going to end here. Does it end on January 1st? I think it does, but we are going to go beyond that a little bit. We're at 290 million GDP now, and our GDP is... We're jockeying with the East India Company right now on the GDP. Okay. We will get there, though. We're pretty solidly in position 6 on Great Power Index now. I like it. We are running a bit low on our bureaucracy. So we should probably consider building a government administration somewhere, and Buenos Aires is the place to build that. So we'll just queue that up at the top of our list. Market access issues will continue to be our bane doing this. So let's see. Do we actually need it in Santiago? I think we do. We do. Okay. So we'll get another railway going in Santiago. Fantastic. Okay, that's looking good. And there it is. The technical end of the game on 1 January 1936. We are going to switch country. I don't know why it doesn't have the option to just continue, but you can switch country as Argentina, start, and then you just continue. Like I said, we're just going to the end of the episode here. And honestly, at this point, we can bump it up to speed 5. I'm completely fine with that. So let's go ahead and do that, and we are going to keep an eye on this construction queue. 60 weeks on that overall. Things that happen beyond here, of course, don't really matter, but I would like to get this construction queue worked through. Oil has now been discovered in New Granada. What a time to do that. Okay, right after the game ends. I love it. So our standard of living is holding firm. Our graphs are broken because we just did a... we just technically changed countries. Even though we didn't really change countries, but that does break the graphs. We're negative on our bureaucracy. We expected that. That's why this government administration is here. But let's just head on forward for about a year. And that'll be great. So we're minus 205,000, right? This is irrelevant. Completely and totally irrelevant. This number is going to get worse before it gets better as we finish up all of this. So that's fine. Checking in on our market access, we should definitely expand our railroads as we expand our buildings to ridiculous degrees. As I said, this is a dumb way to expand, but I wanted to do it just because it's fun. So we broke 300 million for our GDP here. We're number 5 worldwide. That does mean that we have officially passed the East India Company, and we're continuing to climb. We're past the Free States of America. We're past Italy in GDP. The only ones that we are not behind is, or that we are not ahead of, is Russia. We're very close. China, we're kind of close. Austria, we're at about half their GDP. And Germany, we're at about a third of their GDP. Germany's kind of broken, to be honest. A little bit. So we do need a railway in Bajo Paraguay. I actually queued that up at the end of the queue, and I don't know that that was necessarily a great idea, but we'll queue these up at the end for now. We do have a bunch of these plantations that we're still working on, right? And eventually we are going to get negative here. So that does mean that we should actually move these railways up. I queued up way more than I thought I did. Each of these were only intended to have one. I accidentally canceled the one in Buenos Aires. Okay, we'll do that. I was holding shift instead of alt. That was my own problem. So this means that that money is going to come out of our investment pool for the railroads instead of our gold reserves, which will keep us afloat for a little longer. And it seems like it doesn't like to play music after the game ends either. I don't know if that's a bug or what, but that's a thing that exists. Okay, so these railways are going to be done, right? Our market access is dropping in a lot of locations, and we have a lot of expensive government goods. None of this is shocking. This is not a smart way to expand, but it is a fun way. We've got a lot of tobacco and dye plantations and livestock ranches, 41 weeks here. So we're very likely to go negative in our finances. That's fine. There's a crop failure in Uruguay. And that'll affect the harvest. That is unfortunate, but Uruguay is not a major part of our economy. They're 4% of our economy. So we end up losing like 3% of our economy, right? That's not a huge deal. We're going to finish up a bunch of these plantations. Paved roads have now been unlocked. That will actually help a lot for getting us additional infrastructure from population. So that'll be good. Any additional railways that we need to queue? The answer is not yet. Actually, Santiago. Okay. So that'll be fine. We are tearing through this construction queue at breakneck pace. But it is very expensive. And we knew that this would be the case. We do have a little bit of credit at this point, but we only have 33 weeks left here. Very soon, we're going to start transitioning down to having auto queues. Once we do, we're going to start prioritizing that construction, because that will pull money out of our investment pool instead of our balance, which will be very helpful. No doubt about that. But we can maintain this for a good long time. I'm not concerned. We've only got 30 weeks left in this construction queue. It'll be okay. So we're up to 12.4 million population, right? War propaganda has been unlocked. Sure. 322 million for our GDP. Number 4 worldwide. And we're just continuing to scale up. So that's wonderful. Tobacco plantations will be finishing up in a week. Any moment now. There we go. And we're finishing what? Like 2-ish tobacco plantations per week? Ish. 2-ish. Like this week is going to be more like 6. But that's great. I like it. We have 1 railway that we're working on right now. Do we need additional? In Argentina? We just finished one there. Yeah, this is still employing. I'm guessing that that's still okay. Low market access in Santiago. We are already working on that. So I'm thinking it's fine. Dye plantations are what we're working on now instead of tobacco. So we're already done with all of our tobacco. And we're nearly done with our dye plantations. Our livestock ranches are queued up. We have quite a lot of things in the list here, but they build very quickly, right? So we have 19 weeks left in this construction queue. That's beautiful. Absolutely great. Santiago is our only location with low market access at this moment, and we have that railway going in. Yep, that all looks good. We have built up a good amount of credit, but we will work our way down through that. I don't mind that. It's completely okay. We are going to require an additional government administration, though. I think that's really, really clear. No peasants in Buenos Aires. That's not shocking. Arc welding has now been finished. It's probably a mistake at this moment to switch to arc welded buildings. But we're going to try it. What could possibly go wrong? This is right at the end, right? It doesn't really matter. So we'll let that happen. And 650k, I mean, it's actually quasi-acceptable. We only have 7 weeks left on our construction queue at this rate. This might actually be fine. Cool. Okay, so once all of this finishes up, of course, railways are still going to be a concern. Do we need another railway in Santiago? The answer is actually, yeah, we do. So we'll get that queued up. That'll be fine. And I wanted to check in here. 0 peasants. I'm not shocked about that one. We do have 70,000 unemployed. That's a little shocking. That is a little bit shocking. We're now making money, but that is because we are basically through our agriculture construction blitz. In fact, we are now officially through it. Beautiful. I don't mind putting this money towards paying off our credit right now. That looks good to me. I'm a little surprised we're not seeing any auto queues happening, though. Is it because we are in debt right now? Possibly, but we have so much money in our investment pool. So much money there. We are going to need a couple additional railways. One in Buenos Aires and one in Patagonia. But beyond that, that should be all we need there. Why aren't we seeing auto expansion? Because it's turned off. It must have turned off automatically when we hit debt there. We definitely want to turn this back on. No doubt about that. None of these can be auto-expanded. We could take these down to diesel pumps. In theory, that would be nice. It's going to hurt our oil reserves quite a lot, but we can try it. What could possibly go wrong? We're going to have massive oil issues, but I think it's fine. Compression ignition tractors, okay. Massive oil issues. Yeah, oil input goods shortage. That was fully expected. The Free Trade Party won. Let's see about importing some oil from Russia here. And what do we have for legitimacy? Not much. Okay. Noted. That is certainly noted. So we are starting to expand all of this again. That's looking good. Okay, 20 weeks left in our construction queue here. Absolutely great. And we're back on this bandwagon. It is, however, time to end the episode. So it looks like we're ending with the number 3 worldwide GDP behind only Austria and Germany. That's pretty good, considering our population and what we started with. I like it. Now, we're really far behind them in terms of prestige. There's no doubt about that. But I think that that was quite successful, all things considered. Even if we were kind of dumb at the end. Building all of that raw resource extraction, it does mean that you're very scalable for the future. But it does definitely put a dent in the GDP for the time being. It's more of a future thing. There's no doubt about that. But it is time to put that cut in here. This is going to be the end of this particular series, and we'll see what we end up doing next. It'll be interesting. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it'll be interesting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisol, Kadra, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button. Wow, I got a little distracted there. You can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.